Hey, I'm Ashura, and this is part 2 of our trip through the story and lore of the Dracthyr leveling experience on Alpha. I'm going to be taking you through all the quests of the Forbidden Reach, talking about the context, lore, and speculating a bit, and getting into what we know so far about the Dracthyr and Neltharion, because if you saw part 1, there's a whole lot of questions. Not really sure what's happening here yet. So I'm just gonna jump right in. I think I'm gonna skip a lot of the training / flying quests, because there's not like a whole lot of story in them. So I'll get back to you after that. Okay. Emberthal! Thank the Earthwarder. Her wisdom is needed. I am heartened to see that so many escaped the war creche. My own Wern was not as fortunate. Umberthal stands in silence for a moment. There are other creches throughout the Reach, filled with Dracthyr in peril. Strong wings will be needed to reach them. Focus. Remember your training. Get a feel for the wind again. You must regain your strength and fly to the other creches. The time for rest is over. It is good to see you, Emberthal, but where is your Wern? I awakened. The rest of my Dracthyr did not. May their names be ever remembered. May their names be ever remembered. Time runs short. The storm approaches. Your vision from the arcane beacon showed that there are Dracthyr trapped within their creches. We cannot afford to lose any more of our people. Umberthal pauses, her brow furrowed. The healing wings are the finest medics in our ranks. Their creche lies within the caldera of the Menders. Cinderthresh knows the way. Leave no one behind, Evoker. Dervishian, scout the creche of the Ebon Scales. Cinderthresh and Ashura will seek the healing wings. Fly with caution, my friends. Dragons are watching. I shall seek answers after I have accounted for all of the Dracthyr. Neltharion would have our hides if he saw this mess. Verdia he leads the healing wings. If she's lost, I do not know what they will do without her. The healing wings need us. Get moving. Bugs. I awakened. They crawled on me. More inside. Scale Commander? I cannot see. My lungs! Oh no. Okay. We have wounded! Look at all these wounded. There are more Menders inside. We need to help them. Whatever toxin has infested this creche is potent enough to take down our best healers. It does not bode well for either one of us. No matter. Dracthyr are trapped inside. We're going in regardless of risk. Take a deep breath and follow me. Verdia! Verdia? Are you here? Choking? This is terrible. Oh, can I... Nope, alright, I'll have to look at this later then. Dragonbane Beetle. Oh no. Easy there, Cinder, easy. Verdia? We went in after you. Shh. I know. You're as brave and foolish as ever. Good. You're awake. Verdia coughs to clear her throat. We need an evoker's skills right now. You recover quickly. Good. Those who escaped in my creche are healing, but others remain trapped inside. Rush in to save them, and I will just have to drag you out again. There are beetle nests scattered around the caldera. Their toxin glands might provide a way to counter the effects of that poison. I'm in no shape to collect them myself. I must rely upon your skills, Evoker. The wilds surrounding this creche are home to Scythid. They're voracious insectoids, often territorial and aggressive. All these wounded would be easy prey for those beasts. I do not want them attacking our menders while they recover. Cull their numbers while I look after Viridia. She is very brave. You should lie down, Viridia. You need to rest. Nonsense! I am perfectly fine. Just hurry back with those toxin glands, Evoker. I ship them so hard. I need help! I am Toto, and I was exploring because that is what I'm good at. But I did not realize my sister Cole followed me, and I need you to help me find her because she's in trouble, so please help, please? She went into this cave, but she's not as good at hiding as I am, and her parents are too far away to help. Can you find her before the monsters do? Toto is my favorite. Okay, I'm gonna hide behind you, but don't let the monsters see me, KK! Go, Tono, my little moose. I was so worried.
Let us visit for
You found my little ones.
Stay warm.
My people will never forget the kindness you've shown my family today. Songs will be sung of your courage. We came to this isle because we saw a great beam of light shining up into the sky. The legends warn us to avoid these shores, but curiosity got the best of us. We did not know this place was home to anyone, though I have never seen your like before. I hope your people and mine can become friends. Now, I'm kind of curious if they mean this isle is in the Dragon Isles, because there are Tuskar all over the Dragon Isles. I've only done this zone and Waking Shores, but there are 2 Tuskar towns, or I think, yeah, just 2 in the Waking Shores. And it seems like the beam of light that this Tuskar is referring to is Tearhold. So it's, I can't quite tell if they mean that like these Tuskar are from elsewhere and came to the Dragon Isles, or if they're like from the Dragon Isles and then were said not to come to the Forbidden Reach, which is really interesting because I think the lore for this zone, like the introduction that we got to it, was that this was like a place that Neltharion kind of forbid anyone from going into, or said that it had like fallen into disrepair and just essentially like no trespassing, private territory. And so if that great beam of light isn't referring to Tearhold, and these are just Tuskar who came from somewhere else and set up villages here, if that's referring to something on the island, what does that mean? But I would say, just based on this description, they're probably referring to Tearhold. But I also do know that, like, when you come into this zone, oh, I lost my train of thought. The Dracthyr are, like, awakened by some kind of ripple of magic. And I wonder if they were woken by Tearhold activating, or if they were woken for different reasons. Because the blue dragons were just watching over them. The blue dragons weren't the ones who, like, woke them up, but they were watching to see if they did wake up. And I mean, this could count as, like, a great beam of light, right? Like, these beacons. Maybe the beacons recently activated. Unclear. Okay. The Scythid were always formidable, but it seems during our stasis they've grown even larger and more threatening. Time runs short. Good. These are just what I needed. I will work on something to counter the toxin and get you back into the creche. The toxicity in the creche nearly claimed us all. While the antidote is being prepared, I need you to seek out the wounded and heal them. Yes, even the blue draconid. The healing wings do not stand idly by while others suffer. Healing the draconid? After they tried to subdue us? There is strength in mercy, Cinder. I love the dialogue during this part. Why did you try to stop us from waking? Who gave the order to keep us confined? We obey the will of Malygos. Our aspect warned us how dangerous your kind could be. Wait, so Malygos did know. I've missed some things because when I first played through this, I was disconnecting a lot. Well, I mean, I guess obviously Malygos knew because he had blue dragons there to watch them, right? But like, I didn't know how much he knew. Like if the blue dragons were just there to guard them, kind of in like after the fact, or if Malygos, like. I guess the question is, why were they put into stasis? Because they've been in stasis since way before the War of the Ancients, and it wasn't like they were put into stasis because of Neltharion becoming Deathwing, but I think I have a theory, and I think it relates to something that happens later in this zone and the allusions they make to their memories and things that happened right before they were put into stasis. But I'll come back to that, because I don't want to spoil it as we, like, go through it. Even though this is already spoilers anyway. Okay. These Draconid tried to keep us in our creche even as we were all choking to death. We're waiting to hear what Verdia decides to do with these zealots. No one knows where these blue Draconid came from, but they were waiting for us when we woke up from stasis. No one knows why we're in stasis either. This is becoming a very frustrating day. Is it just those two options? Nope. I thought the rumor of the Draconid being fanatically devoted to their scale color was just a rumor. These zealots swear that Malygos gave them orders to keep us imprisoned at all costs, even the cost of their own lives. Who volunteers for something like that? I get following orders, but that compulsion just does not exist for me. Okay, yeah, I think it's just those three. Oh, no! At least we are not bound to our scale color. These Draconid clearly come from another flight. But where was that other flight? Did you see any blue dragons before we went into stasis? Oh, interesting. So they don't have memories of blue dragons beforehand. Which makes sense, because I guess Malygos was only like a very vaguely familiar name to them. Okay, I think that's it. Alright, what does he say? Back up, Dracthyr. I've sworn to keep you from this world at all costs. We've been warned what danger your kind pose. I guess this is interesting to me, and the only reason I bring this up is because I could totally see a world in which Malygos is like pissed off at what Neltharion has done, and with regards to like the dragon soul and everything, and then tries to like keep his experiments imprisoned here. But the timeline doesn't really work for that, because when Malygos figured out what Neltharion did, he like goes to attack him, and then Neltharion just gets him with the dragon soul and obliterates most of the blue Dragonflight, and that's how Malygos ends up in Northrend, like semi-crazed for the next 10,000 years until the Wrath of the Lich King. And like I said, we technically know that this all happened before the War of the Ancients, like quite a bit before. Like the Dracthyr, I believe, had been created well before Neltharion ever was corrupted by the old gods, but he was corrupted obviously by the time of the War of the Ancients, because that's when he perpetrated his whole scheme with the dragon soul. But I think I don't know how long it had been, but there's in the trilogy there's a bit where Neltharion says he's heard the whispers for so long that they just feel like his inner monologue. And interestingly enough, one of those lines is something about how he's like, he thinks that Malygos is going to take everything from him, which in the context like of this, really interesting, really interesting. Founded concerns. Return our weapons. Okay, let's heal them. They have different text after. We were ordered to keep you sealed away lest you bring ruin to this world. Yet, you saved us. We're all dragons here, buddy. They told us you were aberrations. They were not to be trusted. Your deeds prove otherwise. Thank you for saving my life, Dracthyr. I will grieve if my aspect orders your demise. You know what? Actually, that brings up another interesting point. I can't remember, but they're all referring to Malygos, right? Who is at this point some years dead, because he died in Wrath of the Lich King. And the thing is, they've been on this island essentially for the last 10,000 years, right? So they don't even know that Malygos is dead. They don't even know that, like, Kalecgos is the new blue aspect and has been since Kada? Yeah. And Caelec wouldn't dare kill us. So this is interesting to me. Okay, I think that's it. I will spam click until I get all of my dialogue options. Alright, let's... You healed me and my soldiers? When we would have kept you prisoner? These are not the deeds of an enemy. These draconids seem very dangerous. Especially when not damaged. They're obsessive about their flight. Do you think we can expect them to be grateful? I guess it's not the point, though, is it? The healing of these draconid does sound like something Viridia would order. She often chooses to focus on what we should do versus what our opponents do. You healed them? Even after what they did? Well, that does sound exactly like the kind of order we would get from Viridia. Okay, I think I've cleared every dialogue option. So, just time to heal the rest. Violence is not the only avenue to victory. The antidote is ready. Use it to search the support creche for survivors. Work quickly. The effect will not last long, so you may have to reapply it. If any of my people yet draw breath, save them. And if they do not, I ask that you recover their horn signet so that their names may be honored. While inside, perhaps you can find evidence of how this infestation came to be. Please, save all of my people that you can, and honor the memories of the fallen. Report infestation. Runes enchanted in an ancient tongue. Malygos, my aspect. The Dracthyr remain securely in stasis, and my long vigil watching over them continues. While I am reluctant to trouble you, I fear I must report that the integrity of this creche has been compromised. An insectoid infestation has breached these halls. In my own arrogance, I at first believed this incursion would prove little more than an annoyance of unwanted pests. But now the contamination spreads out of control, and I find myself short of breath as I am overwhelmed by the toxins produced by this invasive species. I refuse to abandon the post you assigned to me, but I must request additional aid. It seems my arcane skills are insufficient to counteract this malady. Your loyal servant, Indezigos. And I guess this is how that ended. Which is to say, very poorly. None shall die or suffer if it is within my power to prevent it. Thank you for rescuing those who could be saved. Rathanish, Katrinasa, Tenazeth. I vow that the names of the fallen will be remembered. Evoker, you have my gratitude for aiding my Wyrn in our most desperate hour. After we regain our strength, the Healing Wings will rendezvous with the rest of our forces. Cinder tells me that Umberthal lost everyone from her Wyrn. I fear I have no magic that can heal such a wound. She may seem stoic, but Umberthal feels this loss deeply. Tell her I'm on my way. My people need time to recover before we can rendezvous with the others. And the Draconid, well, they are not known for their swiftness. The Draconid? Niltharion said we should never show mercy to an enemy. They are soldiers, just like us. Do not judge them too harshly for following orders. Verdia is a leader who's looked up to by all of her subordinates. So much so that when she finds herself free of the military regiment and decides to go independent, her old battalion tries to follow her, even though they no longer have orders to do so. They trust her judgment and will fight by her side to the end. As for Veridia herself, she's a kind person who trained healers, not soldiers. She's a combat medic used to battlefield conditions and no stranger to stress. However, she would rather heal than hurt and prefers a life of neutrality in the wars of the world. I did not notice this before. The Ebon Scales are under siege by wild drakes, terrasec, and elementals. I overheard the name primalists. Then our people are in even more danger than we thought. I'm relieved that Veridia lives. If what Dervishian says is true, we will have need of her talents in the battle to come. Dervishian's report is troubling. An enemy force calling themselves the Primalists have invaded Stormsunder Crater, pinning the Ebon Scales down at the siege creche. These intruders are summoning violent elementals and recruiting the vicious terrasec to their cause. Azuretha will need your help at the crater. By wing or by talons, save our people. Once the Ebon Scales are safe, ask their commander to rendezvous with me. Be warned, Sarkareth can be prickly. Keep your talons sharp and your breath hot. Looks like we have a fight on our hands. The Ebon Scales are trapped. They managed to hold their creche against these primalists and their minions thus far, but I do not know how much longer they can last. Well, Evoker, hope you're ready to get your talons dirty. Proto-dragons flying in reinforcements. An elemental army being conjured on sight. Terrasec recruited into their ranks. Our enemy is efficient and dangerous. This operation must have some greater purpose. Why do these primalists seem so familiar? No time for that. Focus on the Dracthyr trapped on the other side of this crater. The Terrasec are unpredictable and wild, like primordial draconid, if you will. Wait, that's interesting. Is that implying something, or just saying they're similar? Neltharion considered them little more than fodder, targets for our training, but they are cunning hunters and deadly when encountered in packs. Should they gain elemental power from these primalists, they will become even more dangerous. We cannot let that happen. Thin their numbers. These primalists are summoning an army of elementals. We have to assume they mean to unleash them against our forces. Well, not on our watch. Rain fire upon them, Evoker. Burn those elementals from the reach and take out their conjurers before they summon more. My memories are still clouded from stasis, but I'm certain we have encountered these primalists before. Dervishian grits his fangs. It is no use. Trying to remember feels like chasing fragments of a dream. Perhaps you can fare better. Look for any clue as to what or who motivates these invaders. I know we faced an enemy like this before, but I only recall flashes, fragments. Perhaps learning more about our foes will help us remember what happened. Also, this guy is a Grim Totem, and I don't... You know, I did Thousand Needles on a Horde character, like post-Kata, where, like, Magatha Grim Totem comes in. I don't think we know how this guy is related to her yet. But, yeah, he is related to her, I think. Or as long as part of the same tribe, I guess. Is that how that works? Okay. Terrasec, we offer you freedom and power. Join our fight against the aspects. The elementals awaken. Infuse me with their strength, and I will free the Storm Eater from her prison. Lie of the aspects. Embrace the gift of the Storm Eater. Together we will unleash her might upon this world. The Ibn scales are up ahead. The enemy's ranks are growing. For every foe we strike down, 2 more take its place. Focus on the siege creche. We must aid the Ibn scales. Do not mourn the loss of a few Terrasek. Where there's one, scores more lurk in the shadows. Conjured elementals may not be the most satisfying foe, but it does feel good to stretch our wings again. The Primalist speaks of unleashing a terrible storm. Could an even greater threat be locked away somewhere on the Reach? We got past the Primalist incursion. Now we must reach the creche. Scale Commander Sarkareth is as tough as they come, and his Waren holds the line. But a dragon has the Ebon Scales pinned down. Time for us to join the fight. Take point. Give the signal when we are in range of the dragon. Then we hit it with everything we have. Watch out for ambushes. I have a bad feeling about this. Ikrazithal, an ancient beast who holds the Ebon Scales trapped. We need to grab that dragon's attention so the Ebon Scales can strike. Get us close to the target and give the signal, Evoker. Eek. Brood of the Incarnate. Eek. The order is given! Attack! Ebon Scales! Strike is won! These vermin sought to disrupt our ritual. They're unworthy of the dragon blood in their veins. They mean nothing. Leave them. The elements have granted me the power I need. At long last, the mistress of the storm shall be free. You know... No, I keep getting my timelines mixed up. Disregard. Disregard my thoughts. We wake up to find a hostile dragon in our creche, then fight off an elemental army at our doorstep. I want answers, Azurathel. Answers will have to wait. The Primalist spoke of unleashing a great storm upon the world. We must stop them. Captain Exposition? What just happened? You, Azurathel, and Dervishian all cast a Disintegrate at the massive proto-dragon, hitting it from behind. From within the siege creche, Dracthyr of the Ebon Scales watch. Their leader, Scale Commander Sarkareth, shouts the charge. The Ebon Scales pour forth, unleashing breath attacks. The dragon falls to magic from all sides. Meanwhile, Karag Grimtotem turns from his ritual to witness the incoming forces. Ignoring the calls for vengeance by the other proto-dragons, Karag states he has what he needs and that they must not keep her waiting. And I'm assuming when they refer to these mobs as the Brood of the Incarnate, they mean the Brood of the Storm Incarnate? Which is intriguing, because if she's been imprisoned in here forever, these must be, like, old proto-dragons. Because I can't imagine that she's had a clutch of eggs while in jail. You fight well, Evoker, but we have this under control. The Ebon Scales look after our own. Yes. Alright. That's been a long one. I'm going to finish this off here and pick up with the last, I think, 3 chapters. I can't click on it until I grab the next quest. Pick up with the last 3 chapters in part 3. Thank you for joining me on this lore adventure, and I will see you in the next one. The greatest— Tuskar baby! Oh, that was bad timing. I'm about to fail terribly. Sneaky. Oh, that's a typo though. Stettled. Okay, murder time. Ugh. Oh my my god, I love my Tuskar baby! Abyss? Hello? No! No! That was the worst time to disconnect, please. Please.